The camp was covered by night. A trivial, ordinary night. It was one of those nights when a dark sky, stars, and crescent moon didn't make you feel anything special, and gibbering crickets and twittering birds sounded like they are doing a dull job. Rather, their performance and otherwise exciting. What? I can barely see in front of me. I was staring into darkness, trying to make out a shadowy island. How did you get to know her? Alice shivered a little. We grew up together. She answered slowly after some hesitation. And ended up at the same pioneer camp? What a fabulous coincidence. All these questions, mysteries, and fears that had been so well hidden, so far spawned in my head. Damn, I could just throw her out of the boat and drown her right here. And now, excuse me, that's YouTube sending me an email. I can demand answers, although it could be dangerous unless I'm sure that I know what I'm doing here. But still, I thought that the time I was playing with the white pieces, so I could make the first move. Oh, I see. And not just parry the blows of my opponent. I see. It's a chess thing. So, what kind of camp is this? Alice stared at me blankly. Where are we? Why am I here? She kept silent. Answer me, I shouted. What's wrong with you? If you want me to apologize, Lena, I will. That's when I realized how stupid I was acting, to say it least. She could simply be uninvolved in all that stuff. And what's more, one can't lie that convincingly. Alice's fiercely expression was yet another reason to believe her. Sorry. That was all I was able to say at the moment. Yet, I wanted to keep my advantage. I led a few meters. The last few meters were really tough. Exhausted, I got out the boat and lay on the cold ground. Alice stood nearby me, staring at me. I thought she was about to gorge me or utter some babble witticism, but since she remained silent, I assumed she was still in shock or something. Even though it was rather dark here, it would be easier to hide in my old flat than on this tiny island. Furthermore, Lena must have already heard us and were us crossing over, so by now it's already too late to ask Lena any more questions, even though I still have some. Listen. I looked at her, but saw nothing. It was dark night, and I didn't even have cat eyes. Well, when we finish with Lena, when we find Lena, you're going to tell her you never wanted to hurt her feelings, or everything that happened this morning was nothing but a misunderstanding. Okay? My voice didn't sound confident as it did a couple minutes ago, but confident enough. Although Alice said nothing, it was clear by the look on her face that she agreed. Now I feel bad at the situation. The whole situation. About Lena getting mad, about me dragging her forcibly here. I feel like an asshole. In many ways. I stood up, and we went off to find Lena. Her boat was tied to a snag on the far side of the island. That's very clever of her. One would never see the boat from afar, I mumbled. Well, that means she's somewhere in these trees. Let's find her. I headed into the grove, but Alice stood still. What's up? I thought we discussed everything already. It's not that. It's just that it's dark in there. I had to strain my eyes to make out her face. The grove is smaller than my grandmother's daisy garden. What is there to be afraid of? Alice didn't answer. if you want to know what I'm thinking, I would gladly just leave you here. I'll never know what trick you're up to. Well, she came very close to me. Let's go like this. She took my hand. I hadn't expected this outcome. Oh, this is going to look even worse. My cheeks turned red and hot. My breath was taken away, and I could barely say anything. The whole situation didn't favor the conversation, which was probably for the best, but since I doubt I would be able to say anything smart. Slowly, we headed into the grove. In a couple of moments, I regained some control of myself. Come on, this really isn't nothing to be afraid of. We came here during the day gathering strawberries, no big deal, just a normal birch grove. It's really nice here during the day, I added after a short pause. Alice didn't look at me. She was staring somewhere off into the distance. Well, it's up to you after all. Excuse me. Excuse me for two reasons. There she is. I peered into the darkness. Lena, oh, don't cry. We came closer. We saw Lena sitting beside a tree. She was crying. Yes, she was. Why have you come here? She asked tearfully. And you? She looked at Alice but didn't finish the sentence. That moment, Alice released my hand. Well, you see, I just wanted to apologize for being somewhat harsh and rude. Alice interrupted me. Her voice had regained her usual arrogance of hers. Maybe it's because she didn't want to look weak in front of Lena. What a perfect apology, you bitch. Not walking the walk, are you? How clever of you to insist I'm doing a bad thing, then do the same thing yourself. What? How clever of you to insist that I'm doing a bad thing, then to do the same yourself. Lena switched to shoutingly uncontrollably. You got it wrong. I get what I seen. You see, girls, you're arguing again, and I seem to be somewhat involved in all that, but I don't understand a thing. Explain it to him, Lena said to Alice with a grin. There's nothing to explain. Well, maybe you'll let me have a try then. Whatever. She crossed her arms, chest, and turned away. Well then, Simon, she blamed me for pursuing you. For a minute, there was complete silence. Lena didn't look like explaining any further, and as for me, I stood still trying to assemble the scattered pieces of the puzzle in a whole. What do you mean? Exactly what I said. It's not like that. That's not what I meant. Interrupted Alice. Of course. You always been like this. Lena burst into tears again. Wait, how come? So Lena likes me? Way to go, genius. Hold on. Let me bring in Captain Obvious here to explain the situation to you. You dumbass. Then again, I'm that idiot who doesn't realize a girl's attracted to me till after the fucking fact. Oh god, I'm gonna be single forever. The music's chipper though. Let's say that. So, Lena likes me? And you? What about you? You're trying to convince me that it's all wrong while you're holding his hand. What? So, everyone on this fucking island probably likes you because you're the only... Well, no. Eric and Zurich also have faces. So, you're one of 3 boys that have faces. Let's say that. Oh, come on. Alex actually liking someone. That can't be happening. It was dark here and that's so much like you. Always so arrogant. Excuse me. Always trying to control others, but when it comes to yourself. Alice didn't answer. I had indigestion, so I kept silent. I really felt like I had to say something to defuse the situation. Hey, wait. Perhaps we got it all wrong. This has nothing to do with you. Alice's voice was oddly distant. Judging by this conversation, this has everything. Dude, shut up. Whatever. This has everything to do with me. Yes, it does. Ask her what she thinks of you and why she told me not to go after you. I didn't think Lena was actually going after me. I'm telling you once again, we heard enough of your story already. Lena, no, don't leave me alone. Lena stood up and ran into the darkness. I stood nailed in spot, not sure what to do next. If I follow Lena now, what would I say when I found her? After all, I didn't even understand what this was all about. My cluelessness and silly attempts to console her would only upset her more. Guess we better let her be alone for some time. That didn't sound very confident. Whatever. Without another word, Alice headed back to the boat. Same scene. Ellipses was waiting for us at the boat. The whole way across the river to the pier was hell of a trip. I had to stop every 10 or 20 meters to take a break. By the way, Lena did this by herself. Pretty quickly, too. You weak, out of shape bastard, you. Alice stared at the river and didn't pay any attention to me. Well, this seemed to be the first situation here in camp that is completely beyond my comprehension. Even though ultimately it's just a trivial, everyday situation. I wasn't this confused even during the all-night expedition to the old camp. After all, if you had looked closer, there isn't anything strange here at all. Lena is very shy and perhaps even introverted person, yet she's human and can't completely avoid normal human development. Considering that, her reaction fits the situation quite well. Even if I don't get the source of the the fight, it's clear as day that these girls would not behave like this if they didn't have a good reason. As things were standing, I was the reason. That was the strangest part of this whole situation. It's a summer lovin' happens so fast. Yeah, it's the camp romance type situation where you're with the camp. Damn you, Ambulance! I'm busy trying to hit on underage women. No, they're all above the age of 18. No, summer camp situation. Yeah, where you're just together for a week with someone, and it's, you know, that thing where you fall in love with someone. No, anyways, yeah. We all been there. Hey, I'm sorry that went that way. If only I haven't overheard the conversation. Seems like I was feeling pathologically needed to. It's not your fault after all, she said absent-mindedly. It's just that you appeared in the right place at the right time and restarted a mechanism that had stood still for a long time. I don't quite get it. Yeah, of course you don't. And actually, you shouldn't right now. You'll get it later. And by it, don't say it. She cast an intense glare at me. Damn it. Why does this always happen to me? Both at school and college. College. All right, slight typo. This is by the way translated from English to German. So Russian. So there is some forgiveness to be, there's some of that. Trouble seemed to have chosen me as its primary target. Someone blocked the classroom door with a mop. I got reprimed by my mark book. There was a fight. All things considered, I must have started it. Failed an exam? Well, of course that's my fault, and the teacher who hates me had nothing to do with it. Even my parents always seem to prefer blaming me rather than unfavorable circumstances. Well, yeah. Trust me, little kids always like to blame other people. A third-party involvement or decrees of providence. At some point, I even started to believe it myself, that I somehow do attract trouble. Remember Murphy's Law? It's tattooed on my butt. Anyways. For that reason, I always tried to stay out of any trouble where I could become the whipping boy. Except for the librarian. I wanted to be her whipping boy. Well, judging by today, I'm not really good at that. It seems like you got an aura of some sort. You attract attention. Surprised, I looked at Alice. She was smiling. Looks like she can read my mind. Trouble, mostly. Who knows? Who knows? She said dreamily and stared off into the river. It's a nice night, isn't it? Just like any other one, if you ask me. I felt used up. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Just an ordinary night, nothing special. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust my mouse here. Nothing special. The best moments to make the most admiral camp leader really happy. She has to know that our favorite pioneer is a nasty pervert who enjoys peeking on naked girls. Something snapped inside me again. You aren't serious, are you? Why? Of course I'm serious. She didn't look like she was joking at all. Well, suit yourself, but do you really think that's the best time to do this? Aren't you supposed to row? I realized that our boat was still drifting in the river. Wait. Don't dodge my question. Let's just get back to camp. I'll have a moment to think it over. Getting to spend an entire night in a boat wasn't something I would aspire to. So I had applied myself to the paddles. We barely made it to the pier. I was exhausted both because of the rowing and because of Alice's intent to tell Olga about this morning's incident. If I knew our camp leader, her reaction would be quite predictable. So, you're actually going to visit Olga now, aren't you? Why not? She gave me her most roguish smile. It's night after all. She must be sleeping already. Excuse me. Pardon. Who knows? She might well be awake. Come on. You know full well it was coincidence and simple misunderstanding triggered by Ulsa. No, I don't. She flung her arms up and headed towards the camp. I gathered all my remaining strength and jumped up and followed her. Excuse me. At first, I considered grabbing her arm and choking her. Realized it might not be such a good idea after everything that happened today. Hold on. I trudged unenergetically along next to her. Let's talk this over. Is there anything to discuss? We silently walked alongside each other for some time. At least she walked slowly so that I didn't have to trouble keeping pace with her, and I was thankful for it. Hey, isn't there anything I could do to convince you not to tell Olga? Not sure, but, well, there is one thing. We came to the square. So, what is it? Stop chasing Alina, for instance. For God's sake, what makes you think I'm... Because I choose her every time. Chasing Lena. I started to lose my temper. Why are you making up such nonsense? You started that quarrel in the forest because you had to go to that island here where, you started that quarrel in the forest because of you, we had to go to the forest, and here we are again. Go again. Enough is enough. I'm not chasing her. Alice stood straight. Bright moonlight lit her face up, which showed even signs of resentment and displeasure. Like, I don't see how you look at her. How do I look at her? Like that. Like what? You know. She shifted her gaze but remained standing still. Hey, stop seeing everyone through your twisted imagination. If you can't stop making nonsense stories, then at least keep them to yourself. Well, anyway. Don't make others suffer because you and your stories. I don't care if you pick on me, but now you're gone and get Lena involved? I was really lost my temper for good, but Alice didn't answer. We sank into an unexpected silence that was only broken by Alice's sparse sobs. From bad to worse, now you're crying? How have you gone mad here? I collapsed my hands in despair. I could understand why Lena was crying, but to see Alice crying is unthinkable, to say the least. I can't even see her reasoning. I can't even read. Dude, she liked you. She's pissed you're going after the girls she hates because they both came from the same town. Anyway, or something like that. At other times, I would be definitely shocked, but at this moment, I'm just too tired for that. My mind was absolutely blank. To be precise, it was so heavy and full so that not even a single idea would have chanced to dwell there. If I would compare my brain at its prime to a broad highway full of speeding thoughts overtaking each other and causing a chaotic crashes, then now it's nothing but a forgotten tiny path in a distant, desolate forest is only used in times of absolute necessity. Alice kept silent. At least she stopped crying. If you really think it's so serious, go ahead and tell Olga. I hope it makes you feel better. Okay, I won't do it, she said quietly and turned to me. Tears were gone, but her face seemed to express an absolute sorrow at this world. I'm just feeling hurt. You, dude, you. What hurt you? I asked her tiredly. It's always like that. She gets all the attention and always pushes me aside. I had difficulty understanding what she was talking about and decided to play along. Hopefully, she'll finally leave me alone. That's not true. You do draw attention and people don't overlook you. I don't. I raised my eyes and looked at her. Her facial expression was a mixture of amazement and expectation. See? So could you? All of a sudden her voice became so tender that I flinched in astonishment. Alice's face turned red and she hid her eyes. So, you really think that I'm as good as her? I wanted to say something like even better, but stopped myself. Yes, I do. It seemed like I didn't understand that I said it absolutely insincerely. All right then, time to sleep. Alice suddenly yelled cheerfully. Well, I made her happy. Now, she was acting more like herself again. See you tomorrow. She waved her hand and ran away. Well, fuck. Did I go down her path? I don't know anymore. Gendo, do you know? No, you fell in love with one person and cloned her. And then your son had sex with her. No, wait a minute. That didn't actually happen in canon. Would that still be technically incest then? Anyways, she waved her hand and ran away. I sighed in relief. Well, it was over for the day. All my remaining energy was wasted on a sprint to Olga's cabin. There was no light, so trying not to awake the cabin leader, I undressed quietly and laid down. She was watching me. It's still interesting. What did Alice mean? And Lena? It became totally unclear what is going on with them and with me, as if we got stuck in some kind of vortex which started to swirl with furious power. Furious. But what's going to happen next? And where will I be thrown then? Ellipses didn't tell me. There we go. That is the end of day 5. Right? Day 6, right. Oh. What, Alice? What are you doing here? That's new. Hey, these are blank. Why are these blank? They weren't blank before. Okay, that actually freaked me out. Did I choose Alice over Lena? What the fuck just happened? I'm confused. I'm drunk. Let's end the video there. So that was the end of day 6. Is it this button? Save game. And what's nice about this is my Rode PC. Apparently this is saving on the cloud. So I forgot to do a copy the game file to my PC or my Mac here, but luckily when I downloaded it, this saves to the cloud. So anyways, so yeah, that's weird. Why did Alice appear in our loading logo? Lena didn't appear there before, and I've been pursuing her. At least I have. The character hasn't, but whatever. We'll find out next time, I guess. Wow, this is getting interesting. Also, now that I really need to pee, so I need to end the video there. So next time we'll go on to day 7, and which is this just a week long? So is the next day the last day? Did I do this mistake most people do the first time they play these visual novels or dating sims, where they spread themselves too wide and they get the bad ending, or they get no ending at all? What I mean is you don't get one of the good endings with the girls. Or did I, who knows? We'll see. Again, I'm just playing this drunkenly without actually looking into it. So I'll end the video there. So thanks again for watching, and see you next time.